We got to talk HBAR price action. Why? Because there's some really interesting stuff happening. We'll also talk XRP because that $3 floor is looking like it's happening. What does some degen trading get you in the crypto market? How about 320 billion in volume for the month of July? European Central Bank says, I don't know about crypto, but cash is good because it keeps you anonymous. What?
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
I'm a big Airbnb fan. When I like to travel, I like to use a little Airbnb. What about you? Comment down below. When you travel, what's your preferred method of place to stay? How you like to stay? Hotel? Airbnb? I want to hear from you. Like to stay on the streets? Shit, I want to hear it. All right, now before we get into the crypto news like this, the European Central Bank affirms cash will remain vital despite rising digital payments. Ooh, that's juicy. That's a hot take from the ECB. You know the deal. Your comments come first. Why? Because you, the viewer, matter most. Radiant Rick Van Life says maybe that guy called you out, should subscribe so he can check out all the news that comes out so he doesn't make stupid comments. Yeah, dude comments in a lot of my videos, and most of them are pretty fucking dumb. I just gotta throw it out there. Michael Semino says, anyone can report the news, give their opinions, but no one does it like you, brother. Well, thank you for that. Your delivery is straight up and in your face. You're not a jabroni. That's just a cool word. Love the phrase. Bobby Bethea, love the dogs, dropping support on the channel. I appreciate that and says thank you. No, thank you for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it for seeing what you're doing, or you seeing what I'm doing with the channel. Shane Wilkins dropping support on the channel as well. Thank you. I appreciate that as well. Shane says, good morning, brother. I got WhatsApp working. I don't use WhatsApp, everyone, so please be very careful out there. I'm a Gmail guy. My Gmail, listed in the YouTube page. Just throwing it out there. Oh, best way to get a hold of me, Twitter. Seriously, get a hold of me on Twitter. I talk just like I do on here. If I'm not talking balls and sacks and whangs and Bollinger Bands and muffin tops and booties and shit, you got the wrong perp. I was wondering exactly what I should be doing. I just been collecting. I kind of see how things are going up and down, but what makes more, I'd like to get to where I can make a living doing it too, because things have been slow in the home building industry. I always appreciate you. Yeah, home building industry, totally feel for you. I got a bunch of friends up north in the union industry, home building, construction specifically in home building. Slow. We need things to get fixed in the home industry. That's why we need rates to start doing something better. Bitcoin sitting at 115,000, 70 bucks, E 3712. Avalanche, Litecoin making some moves. Toncoin in the red, even though they had some good news today, especially in regards to a strategic reserve asset. Now, they spent a lot of money. Wild story here. All right, you heard this. I guarantee you heard this. I'm going to put all the pieces together and you're going to be like, oh, really? That's what happened? Hyperliquid records its highest ever monthly trade volume in July. And you're like, Hyperliquid, bro, why does that sound so familiar? Because this freaking knob gobbler, James Wynn, was doing a bunch of degen trading out there, and he was using Hyperliquid and was promoting the ever-living hell out of it. And in the month of July, this degen was posting like every 2 seconds, talking about how I'm placing my money into this. I'm going into this. It's BTC into this. It's this. And like, dude was getting wrecked left and right. Either way, this dude brought a whole bunch of what, everyone? A whole bunch of awareness to Hyperliquid. Brought a whole bunch of awareness to the Hype token, right? To the juice that is Hyper. Hyperliquid recorded its highest ever monthly figure in terms of trade volume, with just under 320 billion in July. This figure represents a 47% month-over-month increase from June's 216 billion and a 28% increase compared to May's volume. So if you want your exchange or crypto project to really garner some juicy volume, what do? Just have a degen trader, just pimp your action. Yeah, James Wynn. And you could see that, yes, total action from James Wynn spiked when? In May, June, and July, everyone. So even Google Trends shows that people were looking up James Wynn because this idiot douchebag was degen gambling like crazy. Yeah, just throwing it out there. Like crazy, and it brought awareness to the platform. So, you want your crypto project to be hot? Just pay some billionaire to do stupid stuff with money. Easy. European Central Bank affirms cash will remain vital despite rising digital payments. Now, this is a wild hot take from the European Central Bank because remember, a lot of players out there are like, we don't like the anonymity with crypto. Oh, nefarious activities happen with anonymity. Oh, when you're anonymous with money, you're only using it for bad, naughty things. Well, the European Central Bank said that's why people are going to use cash, and that's what's good with cash. Wait, what? Yeah. The European Central Bank has confirmed that physical cash will continue to play an essential role alongside the growing use of digital payments in Europe. Despite the rapid increase of electronic payment methods, the ECB reassures the public that cash is not becoming obsolete and will remain a critical part of the monetary system. The ECB highlighted that while digital payment methods are expanding, driven by convenience and technological advances, there are strong reasons to preserve cash. Cash offers anonymity, immediate finality, and universal accessibility, especially for those without access to digital banking or electronic devices. When I travel to Guatemala, I am pretty strong in terms of debit card. I do use some of the cash at the local markets and like local food places, but the majority of my purchases are debit cards. Obviously, street fairs and stuff like that use cash. But the reality is most of the players are using debit cards, credit cards, and a lot of players out there are actually using crypto too. Really interesting to see, though, that the European Central Bank, though, is highlighting cash and highlighting the anonymity that cash provides. So the European Central Bank had a report. Here is the report right here. This, everything else you're seeing in this video, it's all linked in the description below. Essentially, what they're talking about is the advantages of cash, why cash will remain important, and how during the 2019, right, people used contactless payments, but cash was still there. Cash is still relevant now. Really good read. It's a little lengthy. You're probably going to need maybe about 20 minutes or so to read this. There are some good charts in here, some good notes and stuff like that. Seriously, read it. Link down below. Either way, I thought I would share this because even though crypto is good for its technology, we're seeing a growth of crypto. The bigs out there, especially the European Central Bank, who, by the way, said no to Bitcoin as a strategic reserve, is like, yo, baby, we still want cash to be king. Well, maybe not king, but like, not like in the gutter. Overall, in the crypto market, volume is up 22% to 135 billion. Altcoin season index, you're going to start needing to pay attention to this. Look at this. We're at 43 out of 100 right now. So we're still holding very strong with the altcoin index. Market cap is at 3.76 trillion. Now, HBAR said earlier that, something is happening here. Something has definitely happened. Because look at this. This is the 1 month for HBAR, okay? Now, just recently, we were at the sub 15 cent mark. We were like at 13, 12 cents. So, yeah, we were some low action here. But look at this. Look at the floor here. We had a really big bounce up from this 22 cent mark here. But the majority of our time here over this last month has been north of 25 cents. Zoom out a little bit here, and what do you see? You're like, okay, look, we had a few times here where we bounced above 15. So now, is our overall floor right now for HBAR 15 like we're like, okay, look, you might be able to barely snipe some sub 15 cent HBAR, but the reality is that you're never gonna get there and stay there for a while. That's kind of what it's looking like. Because look, this is a 1 year chart, everyone. That's what I wanted to highlight. We're printing candlestick after candlestick, and HBAR is really getting that support. Sub 10 cent HBAR, I don't know if you're going to be able to touch that again. You'd have to have some freakish event just rock the ever-living hell out of the markets to get HBAR under 10 cents again. Now, this most recent move that we've seen right here, you got a really strong notion that HBAR can maintain it above that 20 cent mark. That our new floor is going to be north of 20 cents, probably closer to that 23, 24 cent mark. 25 might be a little bullish now for the new floor, but the reality is it looks like we're building it on back up. Now, this chart is a little bit different. Here's the 1 month chart for HBAR. Here's the 1 month chart for XRP. They do look a little bit different once this thing loads. CoinMarketCap, help me out. Thank you. They do look a little bit different, right? You kind of see a little bit of a difference playing out. And when you zoom out to the 1 year, you can really tell a difference, okay? This is the floor support story right here. HBAR 1 year, XRP 1 year. XRP, definite difference, right? Maintain that support through this entire move here from the November movement at staying north of 2. where HBAR was really struggling after the initial pumperonies are really struggling trying to find the floor. But now we're starting to see near term here HBAR making some solid moves. Volume very solid as well, 475 million for HBAR. Again, we've got ETFs coming up. We've got a piggybacked version of the Clarity Act that's going to be helpful for us. So we've got some bullish things coming up to help us out with HBAR. Same thing with XRP. Volume for XRP, way different story here, different league. 6.3 billion volume in the last 24 hours. Floor support for XP, we talked about it. $3 seems very comfortable right now. We're printing those candlesticks every hour. They're looking way better. I showed you the 15-minute earlier. Let's zoom into the 1 hour and see what happens. You can see exactly what I'm talking about here. Look at that. That's north of $3 action, everyone. That's the story. Morning glory. I'm not going to beat this horse to death. So here's why I wanted to highlight HBAR and XRP. Essentially, both are getting some support. But the amount of support is very different, right? And especially when you look at the 1 month and then when you zoom out to the 1 year. Very different. What's good about that is you're starting to see crypto separate. So it's not just the altcoin season index from BTC, but even within the pool of altcoins, you're starting to see them separate, right? Certain things starting to move a little bit more than others. Look at ETH. ETH is another good example, right? How many times now ETH gets to 4 or approaches 4, it gets pushed on the way back down. The 1 year chart for ETH looks way different than what I showed you with HBAR and XRP. So you're starting to see them move less like a blob and more like individual players. And that's awesome because think about it. ETH functions way differently than XRP, which functions way differently like Doge, which is meme, right? So it's good that these things are functioning independently. What's also good is the ECB recognizing that cash is still important. Why? Because the anonymousness of cash, can't say that today, is awesome. And that's what a lot of people like about it. And the fact that the ECB is pointing that out is a good thing because that means they don't have their heads up their asses. They've also shot down BTC as a strategic reserve, citing the fact that it's still a little too risky out there. And to be honest with you, they think it's too volatile. Yeah, risk and volatility go hand in hand. And the reality is they don't want to touch it. They also cite that, yes, digital payments are growing, but at the same time, cash is still king, and it settles instantly, baby. Yeah. But I want to hear from you. When you travel, do you like Airbnb? Are you a Verbo person? Do you like going to hotels? Do you like sleeping on the floor? Do you like using cash when you travel? Do you like using debit cards? Are you a credit card person? Let me know down below. I want to know what people's travel habits are. Why? Because a lot of people use crypto when they travel. A lot of people use their debit cards, but I want to see what is the world and what is the viewing audience looking like when it comes to travel habits, because I've got more travel coming up, and you know what happens in the market when I travel. Yes, good things. We'll have to change the background from blue to green, which would be awesome. And go White Sox. I know. They suck, Klaus. They suck. I know, but they've won like every series since the All-Star break except against the one against the Cubs, so just throwing it out there. I got the Mark Burley shirt on. Yeah, I know. So yeah, good news all around, everyone. Floor support's building as we print those candlesticks, and we're in a much better place now with crypto. I feel better about this. I do. I really do. I feel much better now than I did a few months ago.